If you couldn't tell already, I love, and I mean love, butter. Even growing up, butter was everything in my kitchen. I remember sitting at the breakfast table watching my mom spread that rich yellow slab over steaming toast, the smell of it melting into every crack. Weekend pancakes, mashed potatoes, cookies, butter was the secret ingredient that made everything feel like home. We didn't think about labels or sourcing in my family. Butter was just butter. In fact, my mom even fell into the trap of buying margarine instead of butter. But that illusion started to crack when I went full carnivore. Suddenly, butter wasn't just a flavor, it was fuel. I relied on it daily, stacking it onto steaks, blending it into coffee, even eating it straight out of the wrapper during long editing nights. And after 7 years on a high fat carnivore diet, eating nothing but meat, eggs, raw dairy, and butter, I've learned a lot about what good butter actually is and what it definitely isn't. So I started digging, calling manufacturers, reading sourcing reports, and of course, experimenting on myself. And what I found honestly blew me away. So before you grab your next stick of butter, I'm going to break down the 5 butter brands you should absolutely avoid at all costs, share what food labs and insiders have revealed about what's really in them, and more importantly, show you the ones that actually pass the test. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which brands to skip and which ones to trust. So without further ado, let's start with the first brand, Challenge Butter. So back in July, a batch of dairy from a big California processor completely failed testing. Peroxide levels were almost double the legal limit. Basically, that means the fat had already started breaking down. That batch was linked to one of the premium butter brands everyone recognizes. The findings showed that oxidized fats, chemical breakdown, and signs that it wasn't stored right during transport. And somehow, not one single headline covered it. Nothing. Sitting right in the middle of that silence, Challenge Butter. Now, most people see that logo and think of family farms, happy cows, fresh cream. But lately, what people are actually getting is butter that tastes bitter, feels weird, is extra watery, or goes bad too soon. This year alone, food safety boards got a bunch of complaints: waxy residue, odd smells, even mold showing up just days after purchase. And here's the craziest part: the packages were sealed, the dates were good, everything looked normal, but clearly something wasn't right. The bigger issue isn't just spoiled butter, it's why it's happening and how no one's talking about it. Challenge isn't some small local creamery churning butter by hand. It's part of a massive industrial supply chain. Big dairies, cooling warehouses, long haul trucks, and storage facilities that are already struggling to stay cold enough in summer heat. And when that cold chain slips, even a little, butter's the first to suffer. What people don't realize is that early oxidation doesn't always smell bad or look off. It can seem totally fine for weeks before the rancid taste hits. But by then, you've already eaten it. And those oxidized fats, they can really cause gut inflammation, digestive issues, even allergic type reactions for some people. But the butter still ends up on our shelves. Challenge doesn't have to lie to anyone. It just has to stay quiet until people stop paying attention. And while that happens, the same bad butter keeps circulating one stick at a time. Not every brand has gone bad. A few are still doing things the right way. They're not cutting corners or changing the recipe just to save a buck. And I'm going to get to the good ones later in the video, so keep watching. Now, the second butter to avoid at all costs: Great Value Butter. If you shop specifically at Walmart, then you know that it's sitting on every single Walmart shelf because it's their very own house brand of butter. Great Value Butter ends up in millions of shopping carts every single week. It's cheap, easy to find, and it's literally everywhere. When something that common starts cutting corners, the fallout doesn't trickle, it floods. Back in May, independent lab tests found that certain batches of Great Value salted butter had way less butterfat than the law required. And that's not just a technical thing. Butterfat is what makes butter, well, butter. It's what gives it that flavor, that texture, and the way it melts and cooks. Drop the butterfat too low, and legally, it's not even butter anymore. Inflation hits the wallet, and shrinkflation quietly hits your food. The stick looks the same, but inside it's less than you even paid for. As long as a product stays close enough to the line, regulators don't have the time or money to chase it. Big retailers know that. So instead of fixing problems, they start tweaking recipes, cutting corners, and packaging to stay out of trouble. Walmart doesn't pretend Great Value is fancy, but it's built trust on affordability. So when that trust breaks, it's not just disappointing, I feel like it's predatory, especially in areas where Great Value is the only option. What's worse, the butter itself isn't even consistent. Bloggers and people on social media have found regional differences. Some batches down south have extra stabilizers and emulsifiers that north batches just don't have. Who's getting the lower quality version? And here's where it gets messy. Walmart controls everything: the shelf space, the brand, the price, and the suppliers. It is a closed loop. If cutting quality saves a few cents, there is no competitor to call it out. Customers are already noticing, by the way. There are lots of online threads popping up with tens of thousands of comments talking about sour smells, weird textures. But instead of a recall or a statement, the bad batches just quietly disappear, replaced by new codes and fresh packaging. The truth is, once people get used to less, even bad butter starts to look normal. The third brand may break some of your butter loving hearts because it's Kerrygold butter. Now, this is actually the exact butter brand that I started my carnivore diet journey with. So trust me when I say I was devastated when I found out about 3 years ago that Kerrygold changed their ingredients. Now, this is specifically for their unsalted butter, okay? I double checked recently regarding their salted butter, and I can confirm their salted butter is still a fantastic option. When I found out that the unsalted butter had a permanent change in ingredients, I was just heartbroken. So just take a look at the ingredients list I'm going to put up on the screen right now. You will see pasteurized cream, normal, then skimmed milk and cultures, not normal. I even reached out to the Kerrygold company themselves for clarification on the change, and they replied with a very cryptic response. Hi, thanks for your message. Yes, the unsalted butter ingredients list is permanent. Skim milk powder is used in the production of our unsalted butter in addition to the full fat cream used in the production of both butters. The skim milk and enzymes are used to create a unique flavor profile. Hope this helps. Cheers, Alexandra. What it seems that they are doing is they want to make cultured butter, but instead of culturing the cream before churning, which is the right way, the traditional way, they are growing cultures in skim milk and then adding those after into the butter. So it seems that Kerrygold is manipulating the process in a way where the milk gets eaten by the cultures via this process. So what we end up with is an attempted reconstruction of the original cultured unsalted butter product. Now, to me, the fact that they are cutting corners and manipulating the process of making this butter with skimmed milk is reason enough for me to look elsewhere and find better, cleaner butter brands. When it comes to Kerrygold salted, like for example, my husband, of course, I will buy it for him, but for some reason, the unsalted, they just started cutting corners. Now, moving on to the fourth butter to avoid, Land O'Lakes. I know this one is a very popular one. You might already have it in your fridge. Land O'Lakes used to be that quiet, familiar brand in the fridge, the kind you'd grab without thinking twice. It's safe, it's simple, it's harmless, but that is exactly what makes it dangerous. Over the last year, food safety forums and complaint boards have been buzzing about Land O'Lakes. Even industry insiders are paying attention. The USDA hasn't stepped in yet, but the number of complaints are really hard to ignore. Land O'Lakes isn't a small family farm. It is now a $14 billion agricultural giant. Decisions here don't happen in kitchens. They happen in boardrooms. FDA labeling loopholes make it even easier. Companies don't even have to disclose exactly how much real cream is inside anymore. They can hide cheap oils under vague phrases like natural flavor now. And as long as no one ends up in the ER, regulators usually look the other way. This is how it all happens, not with scandals or lawsuits, but with quiet substitutions and consumer trust on autopilot. There are many products in the grocery store labeled as butter, but with poisonous seed oils snuck in. So this secret tactic helps big butter brands stretch their product while saving big bucks on production costs. So what they do is essentially these brands will blend seed oils to change the moisture and fat ratios just enough to pass labeling laws. These seed oil blended butters also oxidize really fast. What that means is your body takes in rancid inflammatory omega-6 fats, which inflame our gut lining, stiffen our cell membranes, and slow down our fat burning. And guess which types of butter utilizes this sneaky tactic the most? Spreadable butters. Even Kerrygold spreadable butter has rapeseed oil snuck in. Challenge spreadable butter? Canola oil. Brummel and brown butter is a spread containing a vegetable oil blend of soybean oil, palm oil, and canola oil. Somehow they all made their way into this spreadable butter. I would also stay away from the higher quality brands of spreadable butter, including Vital Farms. Sadly, Vital Farms just has to add avocado oil to make sure that it becomes a spreadable texture. Why do I not recommend avocado oil? Avocado oil still has a higher omega-6 ratio than pure butter, pure animal fat. So why would you voluntarily eat something that is more inflammatory for your body when you can just choose pure, clean butter. So instead of spending extra bucks on spreadable butters that always have rancid seed oils in them, here is a free hack. Just set your butter on the counter for a good hour before you use it. And voila! It's spreadable butter before your eyes. It is so crazy to me that the food industry makes us believe that we need to dish out extra bucks just to buy a spreadable butter when we can just do it at home for free. When you're on a diet with basically no carbs, your body needs much more electrolytes. It loses electrolytes way faster. What are the electrolytes? Sodium, potassium, and magnesium. They're key players in keeping our hormones balanced, our insulin sensitive, and definitely helps us in avoiding those headaches, those lower energy crashes, and the muscle cramps when we are new to a carnivore diet. And 9 times out of 10, they just need to salt a little bit more generously on their carnivore meals. A lot of my Steak and Butter Gang members, when they join the community, they are on the go. They are moms, they are dads. They need something more convenient. So this is where I highly recommend this high quality electrolyte supplement. It is from the brand Element, specifically this blue teal colored box. It's labeled raw and flavored, and it only has the 3 electrolytes our body needs: sodium, potassium, and magnesium, measured out in the right quantities in each little packet. Pour in whatever you're drinking, mix it up, drink it down, and you're good to go. If you guys would like to grab a free sample pack with any purchase, just go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SBGAL. I've also linked them down below. And last but definitely not least, Bunge butter. This one is the scariest. You've probably never heard of Bunge, but you've definitely eaten something they've touched. They supply and package for all the big grocery brands, quietly everywhere, hiding in plain sight. In the summer of 2025, they pulled over 64,000 pounds of a European-style butter blend off shelves after the FDA upgraded it to a Class 2 recall. The reason? The label forgot to mention it contained milk. Not a typo, an undeclared allergen that could send someone into anaphylactic shock. And here's the kicker. Bunge isn't some small dairy messing up a batch. It's a global agribusiness giant operating in 40 plus countries, pulling in tens of billions of dollars a year. For them, a recall like this, just another cost of doing business. Food laws are supposed to prevent this, but thanks to loopholes, voluntary recalls get spun as proactive instead of we messed up. Meanwhile, shoppers have no idea how close they came to landing in the ER. 32 million Americans live with food allergies. 4 million are allergic to milk. One bite of the wrong thing can be catastrophic. The real issue here isn't just ingredients. Again, it is trust. We see European style or premium or imported and think somehow it's safer, cleaner, higher quality. But behind all those labels, milk from multiple countries, paperwork lagging behind production, labels printed before recipes are final. When a company this massive mislabels a basic product like butter, the fallout ripples. Grocery stores scramble, small bakeries lose inventory, prices creep up, and consumers lose another bit of faith in what's in their food. Press releases always say, no illness reported. But that doesn't mean it was safe. It just means no one connected the dots. This isn't about one recall, it's about a system built on speed, scale, and silence. Let's get into the brands that we can still trust and the ones that I personally to this day eat every day, every single day, feel amazing, have gotten amazing fat loss results, and have completely healed my skin inside out. This right here is the butter that I have been eating every single day. And by the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys a typical meal and me eating the whole entire thing, because people just cannot believe that a young woman like me can eat 2 pounds of meat in one sitting and as much butter as I want. So you guys can watch it and see it with your own eyes at the end of this video. But this is the raw butter that I eat at every single meal for my high-fat carnivore diet. You guys already know, if you've been following me, that high-fat carnivore is essential for my hormonal health and for my skin healing. I started high-fat from day one, and I have always added butter as one of the top staples in my carnivore diet. So this is actually raw butter. It's from Miller's Bio Farm. They are from the East Coast, but what makes them special is that they make raw butter and raw dairy accessible because they ship all over the states. The only loophole is, if you can see, it on the packaging says it's for cats and dogs. Does it really mean it's only for cats and dogs and not human safe? Absolutely not. It's just the only loophole that they can get through right now so that they can ship it to all the carnivores who want it all across America. And so I'm very appreciative that they make raw dairy and high quality raw butter like this so easy to access. I'll make sure to, of course, always link it down below. I have a discount code that you guys can use to get 10% off your order. Now, while I'm on the topic, I literally just got a box of their stuff. So let me just show you some other favorites that are not butter. Raw Gouda cheese. This is divine. It is so flavorful. Any raw butter is just going to be easier to digest. I have worked with many of my members in the steak and butter gang where they thought they were lactose intolerant. They thought that they were sensitive to dairy, but when they switched to raw unpasteurized dairy, no more lactose intolerance, no more inflammation, no more digestive issues. So I do think it's worth experimenting with raw unpasteurized butter. This is my #1 favorite product. And yes, I love it more than their raw butter because it is so special. You've probably already seen it in my previous YouTube videos because I cannot shut up about how much I love it. But this is their raw cottage cheese. It's the fattiest, thickest, most creamy cottage cheese I've ever eaten. This is not like grocery store cottage cheese at all. That's all I'm going to say. And last but not least, for all of my animal-based diet eaters like my husband, you don't need to stay strict carnivore. You enjoy your variety and maybe a little sweetness. This is their seasonal raw eggnog, which I find so special because if you love celebrating the holidays, but you don't want to fall into junk, just know that Miller's Biofarm has holiday seasonal treats with actual clean, healthy ingredients. Raw milk, A2 raw milk, has raw egg yolks, cinnamon, raw honey, and salt. That is it. I understand that not everyone can get Miller's Biofarm because of the cost. So of course, I'm going to give you guys another option that is pure, it's clean, it's reliable, and it is across all grocery stores in America. And the brand is called Vital Farms. If you look at the ingredients list of Vital Farms butter, it is pasteurized cream for unsalted, that's it, or pasteurized cream and salt for their salted butter. That's it. They're not raw, but they are a delicious, high quality, and pure butter that you can find at all grocery stores. So it's very easy to get.
Okay, as promised, you will see my typical high-fat meal these days, and you get to watch me eat it all. So I did calculate it for you all who want to know exactly how many calories. It is well over 2,100. In fact, I posted it as over 2,000, and somebody said, this plate right here that I ate is way more than 2,000 calories. So whatever, I must have undercalculated. It's just to prove a point, guys. I am not afraid to eat meat, to eat animal fats, and to eat only meat and animal fats because it has only saved my life and changed my health for the better. Most of the world will watch this and still make assumptions, judge me, say that I'm a danger to society. In fact, I posted a shortened version of this video right here on my Instagram and it went viral. 1 million views, probably more now. Although I got so much love and support from you all in the comments, my carnivore community, I also got the usual. The hate, the naysayers, the people saying that I am crazy and that I am promoting a heart attack diet. This is where I ask for all of your help. When you guys join my comment sections, you share your testimonials, you share how carnivore diet helped you and your health, this movement will spread even faster. I can be even louder with a comment section as dedicated and supportive as you. So please share my posts, like, engage, comment, repost, whatever you want to do with my posts. My goal is to keep spreading the word of the carnivore diet. And I really just want to reach the younger generation because if I had found carnivore when I was struggling with my weight and confidence and skin at the age of 16, I would not have needed to suffer and lose my period and go through years and years and years of cystic acne, psoriasis, rosacea, and eczema pain. Instead, I would have just been able to enjoy my early 20s, college life. And this is what I want for every single young woman today and every young girl growing up. By the way, if you guys are new to this carnivore community, you're new to my channel, and you want more help and support, I invite you all to join my carnivore community. You get coaching, you get meetings with doctors, my amazing coaches with experts in the field, and you get the help that you need to reach your goals for good. And that is at sbgmeetup.com. I can't wait to see you in there.
Do share any insider tips, knowledge, and updates that you've learned along the way down below in the comments. I love learning from all of you guys, and I thank you for your support and for watching today's video. See you in my next video. SBG out.